Welcome to the Pro Cheerleading Podcast, hosted by Mhkeeba
and Brittany, two former NFL cheerleaders discussing hot topics in the pro cheerleading industry
and revealing the truth behind the Poms.
Wow, I can't believe it. This is our 7th episode.
Yes.
Are we going to take a break after 10?
Just a short one. We're coming back.
Yeah.
Mid-January.
Season number 2.
We have 10 episodes this season, but we will be back for that, I would say but we've cursed, right? We can just say
You've cursed. I have not.
Oh, you haven't? I have a potty mouth. People who know me know that about me.
I made fart noises, okay?
Well, yeah, you did. Yeah. But Well, we'll be back for that ass in January, mid-January, for season 2. We'll try to keep it clean.
So why, though? But anyways.
Yes. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was really good. How was yours?
It was wonderful. Isn't it ironic that we're recording this episode about weigh-ins and weight after Thanksgiving?
Oh, great.
Did you enjoy Thanksgiving, though? Wasn't it nice to not worry about what you're eating because you're going to dance in a couple weeks or that week?
Yeah, I remember sometimes there would be a game the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So we would have to have like a Saturday practice because Thanksgiving's always on a Thursday. We normally practice Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right.
So extra practice there for us. But yeah, for season number 2, we're trying to get some content, right?
Yeah.
And so we made a hotline bling line that we would love to hear your stories. If you leave any weird messages, heavy breathing, we will not keep them anonymous, and we will share your phone number with everyone.
We are counting on the cassette guy to come forward, reveal yourself.
Yes.
Call the hotline bling.
Play some music. I want to hear
your song.
I miss my cassettes. But anyways, I think the idea was to create a space for cheerleaders and maybe just people with questions.
Right.
You can text it too. I'm going to reveal the number here pretty soon.
We want to interact with everyone, so I think it's just trying to create that sense of community. We have our Facebook page, we have our social media, and we are getting people interacting with us, which is so awesome. But the hotline idea was a cool idea, I think.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. And you can, I don't know, if you have a confession, leave a note beforehand that you want to remain anonymous. If you want people to know who you are, that's fine too. But the number is 513-480-6714. Again, it's 513-480. Did I do it wrong the first time?
No.
6714. Give us a call and leave us a voicemail.
Yes.
Hopefully it's not linked to my phone still, and I will answer it and be like, who is this?
And it won't be like a girl 6, like, hello. But, I mean.
Yeah, there's a welcome message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear your stories.
Yes. And we can't wait to talk about weight as I'm jiggling my jelly.
This is going to be kind of a personal, sensitive topic, I think both of us and many people.
Everybody struggles with weight, men and women. But this episode is called
Let's Get Physical.
I would love to sing and make everybody watch the video that we just watched. In light of my outfit for Halloween, which was pretty much Olivia Newton-John inspired, jazzercise instructor, we thought it was the perfect title for this episode.
Yes.
We're going to get into it. Lots of talk about the expectations and demands on our bodies when you are a professional cheerleader. And it might get a little heavy, but we like to keep it heavy.
Just like my weight.
After Thanksgiving.
Right?
Oh my gosh. I ate so much, but it's okay.
Yeah. And I had a few like Thanksgiving gatherings, it wasn't just one and done. It's like, oh, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Hey,
so
you got to eat all the leftovers, man.
True. There's some waiting for me at the house.
One last day. I saw somebody say, like, come on, like if you reach Monday, Tuesday, then you're
just
overdoing
eat
it. No, just throw it away.
Oh, true. Just eat it.
No, but just that, the food could not be, still fresh by
Yeah, that's
Sunday,
true.
Monday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you cooked it Wednesday or prepped it Wednesday, but
don't eat any romaine lettuce.
Right? Complete recall. That's so crazy.
I'm fine, but I totally had a Caesar salad on last Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, and then everything popped off, and I was like, what the heck?
Crazy.
I know.
Well,
but
hopefully
it's
nobody
fine.
got sick.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on eating salad at Thanksgiving anyway, but let's get into cheer chats.
Okay.
Why am I so
Cheer
excited
chat.
to talk about weight? Never been this excited before.
I know. What are you doing? Cheer chat. So basically, the topic of cheer chat today is just women, young girls in the football space.
Yes, because we are playing straight up tackle football, not even
that is
flag
so cool.
Football.
I don't know about that because growing up, I played sports and I was on C squad basketball. Okay, and I remember my coach saying that football is not a contact sport; it's a collision sport. Ooh. Basketball is a contact sport. And so when you show me this video of this girl in Hawaii, I felt for her because it's a collision sport. Come on.
I've never heard of football described that way, but it is so true.
Yeah, C-Squad basketball coach, he knew what was up.
Well, and then when you think about all of the injuries and the actual participation in football for males is actually declining because of people not wanting their kids to play, and that it's a rising sport amongst girls, it's exciting, but also scary.
Like, it's kind of like why you want, now that all the boys are hurt, you're just going to recruit the next tier down as girls.
Well, just the fact that it's, like you said, it's a collision sport.
Yeah, it is.
But there are a lot of newer, tackling techniques that they're really trying to push. I think the NFL is active in trying to teach people the proper way to tackle so that there are less injuries. But,
the rules change every year and we break all of them.
I would not want to get tackled. Like, I don't even like play fighting. Like, don't hit me. But back to the women who loves to get hit and tackled. I mean, I think it's cool. These girls, for example, in Utah, there's like a girls tackle football league. I think it's the first of its kind in the country. 300 girls. They have like an elementary, middle school, and high school conference. But they're just playing straight up tackle football. This girl, kind of went viral at one point and mentioned that she wants Utah to be the birthplace of a girls football league. Yeah. And hats off. When you think about the progressions, there are like grown women also in these amateur leagues too.
Which you found. I didn't know about that. That's really cool.
Yeah. They're like paying out of pocket basically to, have these different leagues. I believe there's 4,000 women that are playing, in amateur leagues across the country, and they have like I forget what it was called.
Do they wear pads and stuff?
They wear pads, and they're paying out of pocket for their equipment. They're paying to rent the fields that they're playing on. They're paying their medical bills because there are going to be injuries flat out. But they love it so much. And it made me think about our Bitch Better Have My... Here I go cursing. Bitch Better Have My Money episode where we were trying to explain, like, when you love what you're doing, when you're really passionate about it, even if you're coming out of pocket to do it, even if you're not receiving any compensation for it, hardly, you just want to do it that bad. And they're actually...
good for them.
Yeah. What about the LFL? Would you want to play in the LFL?
They have tryouts coming up.
League.
Yeah, Lingerie Football League. They're pretty hardcore, though. I took you to a game back in the day, and then you've mentioned the barbershop before. I watched their live taping of their radio show a few times because they'll host it so that you can watch it. And they had their quarterback. I should have done my research, look up her name, but Seattle Mist is really good. They are always like winning their version of the Super Bowl. It just makes me sad. Like, I'm not trying to be all that feminist rah-rah, but why can't they just be awesome football players that are women and wear a full outfit?
Well, I know when I went to the game and I did not know what to expect, and I was just thinking, if they're really tackling and they're really playing some real football, like, how could they have such little clothing on? Because, ouch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and they're somewhat exposed. They have shoulder pads on, but, their chichas are giving some love. And, ow, just in terms of being hit.
Because they were hitting hard.
Chicks were hitting. Like,
and this was back in the day, too. This was like when they first started up, I got tickets.
Yes. But it made me think, like, again, to that same end, that should they have to be in their lingerie? No. But knowing that they were going to have, like, a nationwide league, and I forget how many teams are in the LFL, and knowing that they had to get people to buy tickets and... that whole sex sells thing, it's terrible. But I think the men that, when we were at the game, I felt like there were a lot of men there, but they were actually enjoying football too. Like,
right.
Yes,
it wasn't just like
booty cheeks out. So
it wasn't like a coffee stand, like drive through where
it's
all about what you're wearing today.
I think they really were getting a game. That's what tripped me out. I wasn't expecting that, actually. I was thinking,
they take it serious. That's what I was surprised at. I thought it would be kind of like funny.
Yeah, and they're like prancing around and like shaking chichas in the why do I call them chichas? I don't know. Whatever.
Know.
I'm trying to
That's
be clean.
fine.
But I thought it was going to be very a lot more catered to the men audience, the male audience, I guess, is what I expected. But they were playing ball. Like you were watching a full-on football game, and I mean, maybe they were hoping at some point it would be toned down, maybe. But I think it's a really interesting topic. I'd love to interview.
They have different body types, that's for sure, too. They're not looking like NFL cheerleaders.
Right.
They have, like, some weight to them. Yeah. Like, they're weightlifting because they're actually taking down the girls. But there are ginger beasts out there, okay? Like, they got to actually do the damn thing and win their Super Bowl. But they do have tryouts December 9th.
Are you going to go?
10 a.m. to 12. Maybe for research, but... I don't know.
I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't for various reasons. Mainly because I'm a wuss. Like, I don't even like play fighting. I just know I'm not trying to take a hit. I'd get pissed probably, and then you know what I mean? Like, it's just all bad, I think.
But just even, like, girls should just be involved in football. There's so many fans of the NFL, and there's so many women who know so much about football and all the strategy. But I think you appreciate sports that you've played. Right. So, even more.
For sure, you would learn a heck of a lot more.
Even though I didn't know how to say, I was like, box out, and you were like, what was I saying? I wasn't saying box out. Do you remember when we were watching the basketball championships in Philly?
Oh my goodness!
And what was I saying? Post out. I'm like, post out, and you're like, do you mean box out? Like, you're such sporty spice. I am kind of clueless. I was on C Squad, so I have no clue.
But it would be, like you said, a great way to learn the game is actually playing it. So when I was in high school, Garfield High School, got to give a shout out to the Bulldogs. So there were 4 girls that were in all. We couldn't get into any other period of PE, so we were in the boys' class.
They had boys and girls PE? Mm-hmm. That's kind of weird.
That was, what? Maybe they don't, I'm sure they do not do it anyway, in that way anymore. But but it was so cool because we got to play flag football. That's pretty much when I was always into football, but like playing it definitely ignites a different kind of passion. Right. And I used my speed because I ran track, and I would like, they had plays designed for my behind. Oh, it was fun. It was so much fun. But you would definitely learn more about the sport by playing. And I mean, shout outs to the LFL. I mean, the whole thing, my philosophy about showing what you want to show. If these women are, proud of their bodies and they don't have any qualms about showing up in a sports bra with some cleavage and their cheeks hanging out. I mean, it's not even like they were like thongs, okay? No. It's not even like real true lingerie.
And like, how different are they from ours?
Not that much.
Not that much.
Not that much.
Just, I think it's the name. Lingerie football league. I wish they could have just ladies football league.
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
Do you think that's why they said lingerie, is just to get the guys there?
I think they had to make.
And then it wasn't even needed, so it's kind of funny.
I think they've established themselves enough. But I mean, at the same time, I always say for all the women who are like on the feminist kick and this and that and the other, like, and I'm guilty of it too. The WNBA here in Seattle, yet again, they were champs.
Right.
And
nobody hears about it.
Nobody hears about it. Nobody was at the freaking parade. They were champions. Like, that's their Super Bowl. And they won for, like, I don't even know how many times in a row. See, again, not knowing my stats, but if females are really going to support females and really champion the cause, that's WNBA basketball. It's like they're balling hard and they're winning championships, and they can't even get the support of women who are going to be such huge champions of the sport, and women doing it the right way and not showing too much skin to get the attention and respect, but we don't always show out and support. I felt really guilty, actually, when
we didn't go to the parade.
I heard about it, but I don't go to games either. So it's just we got to support one another.
Yeah, we should maybe like buy season tickets or something.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of fun.
Well, I mean, yeah. I've never really questioned myself as to why I don't support certain female sports that I know I will sit and enjoy when it's the men playing. But I did get a different appreciation watching the LFL game that you took me to. Yeah. It's like, dang, these girls really are balling. There's one particular girl that got a lot of love. It was a couple weeks ago from Drew Brees. He ended up calling her because she's the first female quarterback to make varsity in Hawaii. And but she got injured and broke her
clavicle.
Yeah. Ouch. But Drew Brees, FaceTimed her and, said some encouraging words. But there's women out there doing it.
Yeah.
We just wanted to dedicate your chat to give them some love.
Absolutely. Especially in Hawaii, because they don't have a state team, so they really rely on the high school and college teams to fulfill their football needs until maybe Pro Bowl comes through and they can see it for themselves. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I thought that was cool that Drew Brees gave her a little love. She led her team to a win to break its 4-year losing streak. Could you imagine 4 freaking years?
And this girl's so humble too. She doesn't even realize how cool she is.
And breaking those barriers and just showing that girls can play. And she took it to heart. I think she felt like she let her team down when she got hurt, but it was just, she's a true quarterback. The way she was leading the team and calling the plays and taking those hits like a champ, kudos to her.
Absolutely.
Women in football, girls in football.
Keep it up.
I think it's dope.
All right, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. To the scales, to the pounds and the ounces.
Yes, every little bit counts, unfortunately.
So like we talked about with the LFL, we're wearing pretty revealing outfits.
Yes.
I mean, they're not I don't feel exposed, but...
Your midriff is more than likely going to show. Let's break that uniform down. You've got...
Because abs are sexy.
Are they? I think they are.
You don't like abs?
Oh, I was obsessed with having abs.
Okay, me too.
Janet Jackson days, she was all about her abs. And
right. I did 500 sit-ups a day.
Oh my gosh, when I was in college, I did 1,000 a night. I would do 500 in the morning, 500 a night.
I need to get back to that.
Yeah,
they don't really... We've moved on to planks, but...
Yes, planks are more effective. But our uniforms are, you're going to see some arms, right? You're going to probably show, how toned your arms might be. Definitely your midsection, your waist line, your hips.
Everything.
We have these, what do you call them? Diaper shorts.
They used to be, or if they were made a little too big.
Yeah.
And they're white, so it's just very abrasive.
I think I had grandmama draws one year. I was just kind of wait, didn't I put them up to yours in the locker room? And I was like, I know my derriere is my pride and joy, and it might be a little big, but I was appalled when I was like, why do I have the granny shorts and you guys have these itty bitty shorts that fit within mine when we just held them up to each other? But whatever. Oh, well. They cover your rear end. It's not like you're in briefs, but some of them do fit where you might have some action hanging out underneath. You're just, the main point is your body's showing.
Right.
And, when you're thinking about our body in the uniforms, I think it does demand and I forget, maybe it was the Cowboys cheerleaders that made some statement that our uniform demands a fit body or something to that effect. And I think it's just a statement of fact, right? I mean...
Well, and then it's subjective because fitness, people could say Kim Kardashian and Cardi B are fit and have nice bodies and they're thick. And that's popular look right now. But would it look good in our uniform?
Could you imagine? Just
then everybody really would be watching us at the shelf.
But it would look horrible in those white booty shorts, though. Or any kind of booty short. It just wouldn't, even if you can set a drink on it, like a shelf, it won't translate well based on the way that, at least with the NFL uniforms, are designed. I just don't see that being a good look.
No.
A good small waistline and, a little bit of curve. I mean, I think it's probably a good safe bet as to what would probably look decent in the uniform. But, and some women are more top heavy than others. Some are, the itty bitty titty committee and just aren't working with much, but you're more than likely going to be showing some cleavage and showing your tummy. Yeah. That's a given probably with those uniforms, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to be in shape. I think you have to.
Yeah, but we've said, would you want an unflattering photo of yourself out there?
No.
And unflattering photos are inevitable because there's people in the stands with these awesome cameras with lenses, and they're taking these photos and then posting them to social media, and you're kind of like, oh, that dance move wasn't very flattering to my sides, or I was breathing.
Oh, yeah, because when you're resting on the sidelines and you got your hands on your hips or whatever pose that you're required to be in, that's your chance to catch your breath or, or just kind of forget that you need to be on point at all times. You might stick that gut out a little bit, and then
there you go, there's a photo.
That's kind of, it sucks. But I never felt I never wanted to be just, I always wanted to look my best in the uniform. That was my guiding light. Do I want to, just see rolls hanging out? No. Do I want to have a flat stomach? Yes. That was to me Mhkeeba looking good in her uniform. And that's how I at least, motivated myself to go through all of the stuff that we go through to be able to wear that uniform. But you're right. It's not like something, even, you have all different types of body types out there. And I think it's safe to say that there is a body type of a professional cheerleader. Maybe it's at the discretion of the director of what body type
each team prefers.
Right.
But yeah, some teams I feel like, and it's not like dissing anybody, but there's a very lack of curves. Curves are kind of played down as like the bad guy to have.
Right.
Because like I have hips, and there's girls with hips, and they struggled with that because it would be like, ooh, you need to lose a little weight like in your legs, when actually, even if you're bone thin, it's just like your shape. You're gonna have curves. If you're a woman, you're a grown woman. We could talk about even the age. There's a certain age where you haven't like filled out yet into your woman body.
Exactly. That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. And at a certain point, you're going to develop those hips. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's like the good part when you start getting curves, when you're really actually filling out into more of an hourglass shape. I think that's when you're at your most beautiful shape. Right. But you're right. Like, I think sometimes there's an athletic build where it's just, muscles, but not too much muscles. Mm-hmm. Or, there's this term skinny fat where it's like you're skinny, but you're not. You're a little toned, jiggly, maybe. Yeah. And depending on what maybe the directors wanted to focus on of what the ideal body type is, like I think you called it tits on a stick, but like sometimes it's like big boobs, but really nothing else going on below. Like no. You're
not going to have
ass.
Like a little waist that goes to hips. It's just kind of straight up and down from the chest area.
Yeah. Or barrel body where it's like knockers and then just
no waist.
No waist. Yeah. And I mean, you have 30 to 40 women, at least in the NFL, NBA. I think all the NBA dancers, it seems like they're all like lean and tall. Mm-hmm. And maybe not all tall, but they're definitely, it doesn't seem like fitness is maybe as big of an issue, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I can't imagine that they just all seem to have the same body type to me.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you're talking about.
It's like the dancer body.
Yeah.
Whereas with NFL cheerleading, it seems like you get a wider variety of body types and just different shapes. Because, we're broken out along the field by size, by height, really. Squad 1's the shortest and squad 4's maybe the tallest, and other squads might do it differently where it's more of a totem pole effect. But you've got, you're standing next to people in a kick line, and you can have someone with short legs and long torsos, and it's really all what looks good on that particular person's body, in my opinion. But kind of hard to have like a uniform body type.
Yeah. But we've seen teams do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you just said, NBA, they, for the most part, look all the same. Same with DCC. I would say that they usually pick I don't even know what it is, but just a very particular...
0% body fat.
Yeah, and very long legs, I would say, too. Because, I kind of have shorter legs, so... maybe just on that fact alone, I would never make that team.
Maybe, because I think they do a lot of analysis of just their kick line and like where your kicks line up and measure up next to everybody else.
And that could just be your leg's length.
Yeah.
And
so you might just get asked, who knows?
Right. Well, I had somebody ask me for advice because they're thinking about auditioning, actually. And, ran through all the general questions that you normally get. And one of her questions was, I want to bring my best body, but honestly, how serious is the weigh-ins and the body requirements? And I kind of didn't know how to answer, weirdly. I don't know why. I knew we were going to be doing this episode, and it's not like I withheld information because of that, but I don't know. I just didn't know. For me, it was not the most amazing experience, my weight journey while being on the team for 6 years, but I couldn't really tell where she was at, and I just felt like it wasn't my place to say.
It's really hard to answer that because
it's a hard thing, and it is strict. I wish I would have just said that,
It is. I mean, and each team will have their own rules, and we'll get into what those might be. But it is there is emphasis placed on it. I mean, I know, and I used to get that question a lot too. I just said, you see the uniform, you know what the uniform looks like. You've done your research, you've been on the website, you see, but it might be discouraging to say, like, look at what everybody else looks like in the uniform, and does your body look like that? Then that's what you base it off of. But it's just, I try to tell girls, envision yourself in the uniform, and what do you think you would want to work on so you can look your best in it? Because at the end of the day, I'm totally not going to be like trying to analyze anybody's body and tell them what they really need to lose some weight or work on this. It's just like, I mean, because there's a point of honesty with yourself. And I think that's why this episode is going to be, you know, touchy at times, because it is a very personal journey. And like, for me, if I'm going to be honest, at all times throughout my 5 years, was I always at my best wearing the uniform? No, you know, and I know that, you know, I know when I'm having those difficult conversations because I'm not looking the way that I want to, or the way I wasn't representing my best self in the uniform at all times. But you have to be able to like be honest with yourself, close your eyes, see yourself in the uniform, look at a hard picture where it's just showing the business, and you're just like, okay, fine. Like, I guess
you don't want to have those photos for the rest of your life.
No.
You know, like, oh, if only I had worked out a little bit more, I would have loved that photo. It'd be framed in my home.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you see those things? I don't know if it's like something on Instagram maybe, but where they say like, I wish, like, how the heck did they say it? Something to the effect like, I wish what I considered fat then is like, you know, like I'd do anything to be that weight now or something.
Exactly.
I'm totally paraphrasing it terribly, but when you think about it, like what my goal weight was from my rookie year, even all the way to my last year on the team, I'm going to look, I can look at it. Oh God, I'm cursing a lot. I can look at it that way even now and be like, oh my gosh, I was struggling then, or, you know, and I thought I was having problems then, but, you know, look at me now. Not that I'm like, you know, 200 pounds or anything. Not that anybody who's 200 pounds is, what am I trying to say? Save me. But you know what I mean? Like, it's something where you'll look back and be like, actually, I was doing hella good. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I look back at photos where I felt like, ooh, that wasn't, in the moment, I wasn't proud or happy with my body. And now I'm like, I wish I was there right now. Right. Because I've let my body rest after 6 years of go, go, go.
And you deserve it.
Yeah.
And it's not like we just completely let ourselves go, but it's nice to give yourself a rest. It's nice to be able to enjoy a holiday meal and not feel
like you can't overindulge.
I know. You know. So there's the offset of like indulging and then just trying to stay balanced. Because really what we're going to be talking about today is what it's like to go through the weigh-in experience, what you're actually challenged with in terms of maintaining the weight that is set for you, and you know what the consequences are when you don't live up to the expectations.
Right. So what were some of the rules, Mhkeeba? At least for our team.
Yeah, and it might even be different now, right? Because you know, there have been lawsuits about the way that teams have managed the weight requirement, but our rule used to be a goal weight would be determined based upon your audition weight, or, you know, your physique in general, based on your auditions. That's kind of the body that they saw and the judges approved of being good enough for the team, and you're expected to kind of maintain that plus or minus 3 pounds.
Right. So usually after orientation, our business meeting, the very next practice, you would get weighed in. So some girls got smart and realized, oh, it's weigh-in day, I'm going to like chug a bunch of water and eat some, like, of course we always ate. That's what the problem was. But, you know, maybe eat more than you normally would so that you still looked, you were like, your weight doesn't show like that.
Exactly.
So they would make sure that they were a few pounds heavier. So that way that during the year they had a little bit of wiggle room.
Right.
But you would get on the scale and she would look at the number and then look at you and say, okay, you look good, or how about we adjust it?
Yeah, I was asked to lose. So this was, oh God, this was the year. Okay, so we talked about, and this is why we do it. Our rookie year together, we both make it. Then I didn't make it the second year, made it the third year, right? And I'll just say it now, I had a bitch-ass salad diet is what I called it. I'm such a cursor. Oh my gosh. But that's what I called it, because I was literally eating some salad with some tuna fish and some lemon juice squeezed on it with lemon pepper.
Every meal, or just lunch and dinner?
That was all I ate for a couple weeks leading up to that audition, because I had literally back fat rolls. Like, I was in so like disbelief. Like, I thought my body, because I had been working out, but I had literally gained and just, I was doing the right things, but it wasn't burning enough fatty fat, right? So I know nothing. We're not nutritionists, and I'm not a
doctor or anything.
Nothing. Okay, this
is just our truth.
Yes.
Do not
live
copy
in
us.
my truth. But,
seek professionals.
But literally, I just didn't realize because I was so disconnected from how my body had changed in the course of that year. So long story short, it was a struggle to get down to the weight that I got to for auditions. Made the team, and she was like,
during that weigh-in practice,
I need you to lose 5 more pounds. And I literally just froze because I'm like, oh my God, do you know what I had to do to lose this or to get to this weight? Long story short, it can be set for you.
Or it'll be flipping through your file and being like, well, last year, your goal was about 10 pounds lighter than you're weighing in now. Right. Can we get you there?
Exactly.
And you would just like, yes, of course. And the next weigh-in's the next week. Yeah. Or not even that, 2 days later.
Yeah.
So how did you, what are you supposed to do? So it was really kind of stressful.
Yes.
You think the stress would make you lose weight, but sometimes that was the opposite. It makes you
stick a French fry in your mouth.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just going to McDonald's. F it. I don't care.
To the wind,
Happy
as
meal.
You would say.
Yeah, to the wind.
But you would set that weight or have that weight set for you.
And it was expected to reach that within 3 pounds the next weigh-in.
Right. So you could never be 3 pounds over that goal weight or 3 pounds under. And there were times that, she asked some of the girls to gain some weight.
Right.
It happens. And I think the main thing that we would hear was just kind of like, it's not necessarily about the scale. It's about how you look in the uniform. And I think, that was always kind of like an aspirational time because you're like, okay, I made the team. I feel great. Like I can do this. And I just want to look great in the uniform. And you just sign away your life because that's part of your contract as well, is that you will maintain that weight. And you feel optimistic, like you can do it when you think about the number of times of the week that you practice. You think about games and the practice outside of that. You're working out. Like your life hasn't gone upside down yet with the demands of being on the team. So I think you kind of feel like I can do this.
Mm-hmm. That's always my advice is when someone's like, I want to audition. What do you give advice about like in fitness? And I'm like, just have, think about your most busiest time in your life. Like you're working 2 jobs, whatever, you have kids. I don't know. But then try to add reaching a goal weight in that time. So whatever you need to do to like maintain that, if it's something that you can do, if that's waking up at 6 a.m. and going on a run,
right?
Then like, okay, if that's something you can do for the next 9 months,
right?
Then great.
Right.
But you're going to slowly fall off of those habits because we get so busy. We get so busy. And it's more like, do I wash my uniform or go to the gym for an hour? You kind of got to...
Oh, you're making some major trade-offs.
Right.
And I think,
staying up till late and then waking up early, you're going to get burnt out.
One way or the other.
Right.
There's only so many hours in the day. And there was, some women on the team that had these awesome fitness careers. And, that's part of their job is to work out and exercise and help motivate others to exercise. And, it would be nice to be able to have that kind of access to a gym. And there are plenty of home workouts. I definitely got to the point of like doing workouts at home just to kind of eliminate the get up and go to the gym. But there are times when you need to dance too, to go over things. But it's just fitting, like you said, all of that into your crazy life of, kids or other jobs or just family stuff. And it gets away from you.
And then like, what if you're celebrating your 21st birthday? Everybody knows drinking makes you gain the weight. They don't call it freshman 15 for nothing.
Right.
You're drinking and now you're exposed to, these group of women that like to go out and eat. Like you're not going to say, I can't go out tonight. I want to eat my chicken and broccoli. You're going to go after practice and be social. You have more of a social life now, you could say. So.
Yeah. But there are decisions, right, that we're making. I mean, I think you really learn to appreciate how making certain trade-offs or choices or decisions about your time or your discipline at the dinner table or at the restaurant, all of that factors into maybe what results that you might be seeing. And, I'm sure there are plenty of people who are just like, come on, suck it up. You signed up for it. Just go freaking work out and like, shut up. Like
it might not be for you. Yeah. So then now you know. But that's something I would say is that, maybe I was given some pretty hard and harsh like goal weights to maintain or like
you
achieve.
did that to yourself one year. I was so like,
I did.
Because you're just so competitive and you're so good
and I
about
wanted to feel like, then I got obsessed with the number. Even though that wasn't supposedly the focus, I got obsessed. So it was like, oh, you're weighing a little, and I'm like, I can do it. Like I can lose 8 pounds. Like, you know, no worries. I got it. Because my thing was like lifting weights. Like I've always seen results. Like if I go to the gym, kind of watch what I eat, but just lift, I'm fine. And yeah, I think it just got to the point where, you know, after practice, I was going to the gym and lifting with my boyfriend, and it was just like too much. I was getting burnt out. Yeah. And then going to my full-time 9-to-5 job the next morning, it was too much. But where was I going with that? I don't even know. Did you? I think
I did. Because I just mentioned how you like totally threw yourself into like some ridiculous goal weight number, and I was like, "Why'd you do it?" No,
know, but I don't know why I did it.
But I think it is a personal challenge, right? Like we're signing up for it, and we're trying to see what we can like commit to. And sometimes it would be a negotiation. I learned how to try to negotiate a couple extra.
You were so
pounds,
good at it.
You know,
I felt like
because I was an older woman on the team. You know, I'm like, you know, your body changes, and you never know. Your body stops responding to different things. Like working out, like lifting weights could have been your thing, and then maybe it ended up, who knows, your body could have changed or shifted to where that would add weight as opposed to slim you down, where it would show in, you know, the scale. So lots of things happen over the course of your.
I couldn't even imagine being the director. Like, you want a great looking team. It's not just we were beat down. I think we beat ourselves up more so than anybody ever did to us, because we were trying to match these unrealistic goals. So, I mean, props to everybody that kind of has to say things about someone else's body.
Right. Because, I mean, we were trying to, like, think of how to, like, drive this home for people who aren't part of this world, right? Because, you know, there are other jobs where you have a uniform that you have to wear. And, you know, as part of your job, it's not a requirement for you to have to look a certain way in that uniform. It's just you show up in it, it should be clean, and that's about it. But, like, if you know, say you work at McDonald's or maybe even a retail store and there's a uniform, and as part of your job, your shift supervisor or your manager is coming up to you and saying, you know, I see you in the uniform, and I mean, I kind of expect us all to look a certain way, and I can see your rolls peeking through the shirt. So I really need you to, you know, hit the gym and just really like step it up. And they're looking at your body. Like, you're not stripping down to a bra top and booty shorts, but imagine if you had to, and you're getting this feedback on your body, which feels very personal to you. That's something that creates an extra dynamic to this conversation about weight, because it's not just how you feel about your own body or your own weight, but you're also getting very specific feedback about things that you might already know about your body, and you don't need somebody to tell you.
And, like, I am not a personal trainer, but let's say somebody has a problem with your arms. They're too big. You can't target weight loss at all. Like, you can lift, like, your arms, they'll get buff, and, you know, maybe they'll change, but it takes so long and so much of, like, a very specific diet and, like, lifting so heavy and just, like, doing certain things to change your body. Like, it's not easy to change your body, and especially things that are, like, just genetically yours. Like, maybe a big booty or something. Like, remember, it'd be like, your butt's a little big, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like...
And give me what I got. This was my philosophy. You know, I'm an African-American woman, and, you know, seeing curves and hips and ass, and you're going to get that more than likely on a black female body. And, you know, if I don't have big jugs, so my butt is my pride and glory, and I don't want to lose my butt. Like, that's what I'm working with, okay? Men that I know like something they can put their
on the bones.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So, and that's not just, this is just what Mhkeeba Pate wants, right? Like, it's not so much what men want to see, but I definitely don't feel like cultural aspects would always be taken into consideration. Like, you know, or just like your particular shape.
Right.
Like, that's just hereditary. Like, what it is. And you can't get rid of bone structure or different things that kind of frame your body.
Right. Yeah.
That's just my, like, you know.
So then what happened if, like, so some years were more intense than others, and it really lightened up. You weren't doing it the last year, but I was. Mm-hmm. And not to downplay what you just said.
No.
That is so true.
What?
I mean, just, you know, different body types. I feel like I just segued into something else.
Just segue on.
Okay.
You know, we get on tangents. We have to guide ourselves.
Right. We got to stay on track here, or else it's going to be 3 hours long. You guys aren't going to be able to finish it before you get to work. See, then what the heck what I was saying? But what would happen if you didn't make that weight?
Oh my gosh.
Like, let's say you get on the scale and you're like, I'm doing good. Because for a while there, I didn't even have a scale in my house. Oh, it was kind of like a guesstimate. Like, I think I feel okay.
I had to buy one.
Things are fitting okay. I'd always go by the way things fit.
You were saying that your last season, that things kind of fell off. That's
they
what
did.
You were saying.
We got weighed at audition night. Like, you made the team. Mm-hmm. Let's see what you weigh. Because I think people started catching on to the fact that girls would chug water or even just if there was a 2-week break before we really got into the thick of it.
They wanted to, like, do it that night.
No, you made it at this weight. I want to see how that changes over the year. So we got weighed then and probably once in the summer.
And I
still, like, that was it. I know everybody was shocked. A lot of the veterans, they were like, this is it?
Going on?
Yeah, and so we thought that we would get sprung with a, pop quiz of a weight test, which would happen. You weren't always told, like, hey, next week is a weigh-in. No. It would be like, everybody, I'm going down the list alphabetically. You would go into
what that is like. So, like, how are weigh-ins actually conducted? So, like you said, sometimes you get a heads up. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they were scheduled 2 weeks or so before a game, because if anybody did not make weigh-ins that were potentially benched, you have to reset everything. So I think the idea was to give them maybe some time to make some adjustments, but
to the dances,
and formations and stuff like that. But
which also, if you do get quote unquote benched and are not in that game, you are required to use your own tickets that are given to you and go to the game still.
Yeah,
that's never happened to me. I got sent to fat camp. We'll get into that, but I never.
Well, yeah, because you're like, there's
awful.
A section of our families and friends that go to the game, so for people to see you at the game and know that you're not on the field, and that would be kind of humiliating. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this is a weigh-in practice. Okay. What is the day of weigh-ins? Let's just start what our day of weigh-ins is like. From the moment you get up in the morning, you are getting on that scale and seeing
where you're at.
Do you need to go to the gym? Do you need to go to the sauna? I can't stand the sauna, but what can you eat for lunch that day? Mm-hmm. Like, you're making these decisions from that morning of, and you might be determined not to eat that day just to keep it cool.
I had a rough year, so I'm going to be referring to my rough year a lot.
Okay.
Because all the other years were pretty standard.
Gotcha.
My weight didn't fluctuate. I don't know what it was this year, but if I knew a weigh-in, I would take water pills the night before. They are bodybuilder grade water pills that literally suck all the water from your muscles, your organs. I know it was your brain, because that weigh-in days I was like, duh. But suck all the water from your body and I don't know, flushed out in your pee. Okay. So I would wake up and I would feel really like tight already, because I'd probably taken 4 the night before.
Okay, and I bought mine from like Rite Aid, so clearly they were not professional grade. So I would sometimes do it a couple days before, but this was like if I felt like I was in trouble, like if I was like weighing myself leading up to the weigh-in and I thought, ooh, just to be on the safe side,
I'll take a few water pills.
Because you're also having practice during the week, so you're also thinking like maybe some of that will rub off and be reflected in the scale, but you're having that day to basically see where you're at. And because sometimes you're having conversations like, no, when I weighed myself this morning, I weighed da-da-da-da-da. And like, and I only had this for lunch. But, so you're making decisions about what you're eating that day for sure. You might not be drinking much. I've heard of people spitting and drinking and spitting.
I just would spit my spit out in a cup.
Yeah. Dang. Was that work? Did it work?
Someone told me it was an old wrestling trick. And so I was like down with it.
Okay.
And I would wear like 3 sweatshirts. This is bad year, everybody. This is not like normal, and shouldn't have been normal.
And this isn't necessarily everybody's experience.
No.
Some people would just not have any issues whatsoever.
I just was eating a lot of pizza. I couldn't get get the pizzas live and tacos. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry. No, but I would wear like 3 or 4 layers into the sauna and lay there for an hour. Take some breaks. I'd be beet red. I have videos of myself like, barely breathing in the sauna.
But I think it's something that people can relate to. I mean, you know, we've heard plenty of stories of laxatives, smooth moves, teas that make you crap, and what else? Like
that stuff was scary though, because there was plenty of girls where it's like, oh my gosh, I took a laxative, I have to go right now, and it's like we're heading into practice.
Well, that's why I would be scared to take them. There's no way that I would risk just making the,
me neither.
You know, you never know when it's coming.
I did the smooth move like tea and stuff.
Did it work?
Not really. I didn't. It was too natural. I need the hardcore.
But I think people, you know, the part that always amazed me, and this is just why it's just so universal, right? Because here we are talking about all the things that we were doing to struggle to try to like get fit real quick for weigh-ins. But, you know, I would watch, you know, I was on squad 1, like the itty bitty squad one year, and a couple years I was on squad 2, but you have the most petite people on earth. Like they're so small and tiny.
Don't tell them that though.
Oh my gosh. But like, but the fact that they would also, it was all, everybody had the same struggle, no matter if you were like,
I see,
squad, you know, I found that amazing because they're already like 5 feet. And
in the 90s or something, just naturally, because they're so small.
And I'm like, you should be like waived from the weight requirement, because you're like
withering away.
I can blow and you'd fall over. Like, you know, like it just tripped me out that the expectation applied to everybody. Even football players are weighed. I mean, for people who don't know. So it's kind of like we were all in it together. I think everybody was doing what they could. You had to do what you
had to do, whether it was gaining weight, losing weight. I mean, everybody made jokes about that year. Eddie Lacy, was that?
I know. I felt so bad for him.
He like wrote an article, you know, and it's like, I like my Panda Express noodles or something. I'm probably
but
quoting
he was saying that it was
wrong.
so hard for him to like, you know, don't think I'm not trying. And he was like, if people make fun of me for being fat, but like, you know, don't think I'm not doing everything I can. And just to hear a man talk about his struggling with weight, you know, football player at that, it was just kind of like, dang, you go through it too. It was
powerful to hear. Like, we're not the only ones.
We're in this together.
Professional athletes have weigh-ins. It's just the thing.
Right.
Even all those fighters that everybody loves watching, UFC, they weigh in at like 145, but they're really 160, and they've cut down 20 pounds of water weight.
Right.
And then
just to be able to,
you know, they eat it all back the 2 days before the fight. But you know,
this is not, you know, something
new,
unique to professional cheerleaders, but when it comes to like having a weigh-in, you got to do what you got to do to make weight. Doing like jumping jacks and high knees in the parking lot together on the back. Oh my gosh, my last year, Brittany and I had a bad feeling in that practice that I was not going to make weight, and we were parked in the back of VMAC doing some random behind exercises. Like, the neighbors around there were probably like, what are those girls doing? Probably. But let's talk about how some other teams conducted it, at least that like ended up making some headlines that, you know, again, they're pretty appalling. I mean, like you said, the directors have it hard, right? They do. How do you have conversations about weight? How do you try to be objective in looking at everybody's body? But, you know, not to pick on the Buffalo Jills, but they're not here anymore, so it's okay. Yeah. They had a jiggle test. Do you want to explain what that's about? Jiggle test. I heard this, I don't know, maybe it was America's Next Top Model, but I heard some like tip for models where like stand in front of a mirror and do jumping jacks. Anything that jiggles, remove it. Oh. So when you brought this up, that's what it reminded me of. So maybe that's where they got it from then. Maybe that's what they got it from. But they were basically told that if anything moved, right, Buffalo Jills, to get rid of it. Well, so apparently the director would go around, like line them up in their bra tops and booty shorts, and with those like a laser pointer from like presentations where you're like showing people where you are on the slide, and so she would use that on their bodies, and then what, you're supposed to look down at like what she's maybe she was talking to. I mean, it's probably just to kind of like not necessarily publicly shame everybody, but you know, sometimes this stuff is conducted in front of everybody. You're either called in the back to go get weighed 3 at a time or so to get on the scale. And there's still a girl behind you looking at your weight and like, stay here. Yeah.
I need to talk to you.
Exactly.
And then,
It's
okay,
not
everybody else
exactly-
away and go away.
It's not exactly
No,
private.
you're like,
It's not
crap.
exactly private. But she would like have a clipboard and identify the problem areas, and then the girls would get an email of what they needed to work on. But yeah, they had to do jumping jacks as part
Well,
of
we
that.
did that. Like the first few practices, it was videotaped, and you think, oh yeah, like because we watched film quite a bit, just like the football players. But there was one specific. It was kind of around the first weigh-in where she would film and zoom in and zoom out and up and down, or okay, ladies, turn to the back and stand. And, you know, maybe it was to see, oh, man, I'm arching my back so much, I'm giving myself back rolls.
Yeah,
you don't know.
You might be hyperextending your knees or legs or whatever. I mean, I think
pass out.
It would be instructive of, like, posture, too. I think
exactly.
Other good reasons to film us and film our bodies, because you might have slouching shoulders or, you know, different things that you kind of need to fix. But there were also moments where it might be a little
photos.
Yeah, I was sent photos.
Was that the rough year for your?
No, that was
third
a different year. But I remember
that was a different
she was based. I think it was just kind of like to illustrate, like, you know, these are some of the photos that
we got from your glamour shoot.
Yeah, and
look at them and tell me what you think.
Yeah, and it's like, and I mean, I would say to put myself in the director's shoes, I think these are just not pleasant conversations. You probably just have to put your game face on and just be willing to have difficult conversations. I think the manner in which they're conducted at times will definitely influence how you feel about yourself coming out of it, and then just how empowered you feel to do something about it, because sometimes you're just put in a situation where you feel a little helpless. Like if you're doing all that you know how to do, or your body's experiencing changes that you can't explain, it becomes a difficult conversation, because if you get on the scale and it's not within that threshold, what happens?
Usually it's like, Brittany, what happened? And you're like, fuck, I'm a fat tub of lard, god damn it. And then you're like, and your mind is like scanning through all the lists of like excuses.
Right.
You know, because you're like, crap, I drank water today. You know, there was years where it was like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, so-and-so told me not to drink water. That's where the weight comes from.
You're definitely going through all of that in your head of like, how can I offer up a little bit of like what fault I may have played in it?
Because what can you say? Like, your scale just weighs me. That happens sometimes.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Oh, that scale would be off.
Be great on the, but then that was like, no, I took a picture of myself on my scale. Like, it's
this
like
is what I
5
weighed
pounds
this morning.
lighter. That was a gooder argument. That was a better argument usually. But,
well, because let's be real, like if we're getting down to the nitty gritty, you could be on your cycle.
Yeah.
You could, there's so many things could be going on.
Your weight just ranges 5 pounds to 10 pounds on just in general. If you weigh yourself in the morning and then weigh yourself at night, you have fluctuated quite a bit.
During the day.
It's normal.
Depending on what you ate. I mean, it can go on and on and on. But best case scenario after weigh-ins, you go back inside and you attack your cheer bag and you pig out, because if you want to see a funny sight, it's us hunched over our practice bags, digging out whatever granola bars.
Without getting noticed.
Because you're not supposed to eat in there. But everybody's literally trying to shove whatever they can in their mouths just to kind of like, because you probably didn't eat that day. Or you're having, worst case scenario, a conversation about...
And you don't get to shove your mouth full of food because...
You're punishing yourself so
everybody else is eating. I was a sacrificial lamb because I was like, okay, I'm going to weigh too much so then everyone can eat, and she'll have to talk to me so it gives everybody more time.
Because it's my last name. But no, I mean, it's definitely a difficult night when you know people have not made weight, because obviously they're upset. And
everybody knows too
what happened,
because it's alphabetical, and then all of a sudden they stop on the T's, and then everyone's like, I want to get weighed, like I want to get it over with. I want to eat.
Yes.
And nope, she's talking to me.
Well, I mean, I think it happened not quite a few times. I think, nobody wanted to let their team down, because the rest of that practice would mean that you're resetting formations. You might have to learn different choreography, because
if you didn't make weight, and usually you got like one warning,
right?
Like, hey, so next weigh-in, like you need to watch it. you need to be like below.
Yeah, come back right.
better.
Yeah.
So one year I didn't, because I think that was the year I gave myself like a really hard goal.
That was that
and
year.
That's what's so frustrating. It's like, don't you remember just 2 weeks ago I was like, I want to weigh 30 pounds less, and now it's like, if that's truly the case, I need some time, or else I am taking extreme measures, which then you bounce so much more from. Like, then you gain weight because of all these extreme crap. Because then you binge. That's exactly what we were doing. But you were sent to fat camp, which meant
you're pulled from your line of your squad. So like when you practice, you're in a row of in your squad order
of height,
and you you're removed from your small squad.
You have to dance in the back.
Yeah, which sucked.
It did. It was so embarrassing. You've never been to fat camp, Mhkeeba?
No, but I almost got benched. That was my last year, and I'll get into that lovely little story.
Right.
But I mean, it's definitely an awkward practice because.
But then to extra shame you, it's like, well, all the new dances we learned that.
Yeah.
They might not be in the game or even on the team, because you can get removed. Like,
yeah,
if you didn't get kicked off.
If you didn't make weight. I don't know that. Had anybody in our years. Did that happen?
Not in my time.
I think there were just some people suspended, but not
anybody
kicked off the squad for not
Oh, but I think way back in this whole podcast, I was gonna say that I would rather, if you weren't happy with my weight at auditions, just don't take me. That's what I was gonna say a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think that would just relieve a lot of stress?
Well, it is. Yeah.
And then I would fight back for my spot, like.
If instead of kind of putting unrealistic expectations
goals
and goals
on the team,
you,
like, ooh, Brittany looks a little chubby, but I'll let her on because of X, Y, and Z, and then now she has a struggle bad year.
Yeah,
like, that's not really fair.
That's fair. I mean, I always try to like look at things from all angles, and I think again, maybe a director's thinking of the skill level that she wants on the team in terms of dance ability, and maybe they're just an asset to the team overall, and you're kind of wanting to build your squad a certain way. And maybe you have the benefit of seeing people from year to year. Like, I know what you're capable of. I know you can be.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah. Like, I know you can do it. And, and it's probably hard to try to be encouraging on a topic that can be so frustrating. I remember having conversations where I was just trying to, like, at least from my point of view, share what I was doing, because it definitely got to a point where I didn't know what else to do. I had, if you're working with a personal trainer, if you are making time for the gym, if you aren't eating like a piglet all the time, like you're kind of expecting to see some results. And if it's not happening,
something else must be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably like TMI, but switching maybe your prescriptions, like
that's so true.
Birth control, like those are hormones that you're putting in your body, and so yes, it does sometimes take your body a while to adjust and figure it out. But it was very frustrating when you weren't really quite sure, because you were doing everything right.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like I look back and I'm like, I wish I was struggling at that weight.
Right? Because it seems like
it wasn't even bad.
No. And I mean, and I think it's great to have like a support system of your family or your friends or even each other to just be like, you're not fat. Like, let's just reset here. It's just.
This is a job.
This is like the expectation for something like this. Your body's beautiful the way it is. It's not. Because sometimes you just feel fat. Like, I remember like a calendar unveiling one year, and I was just like, this is just not the day to be in a bikini on
dancing
stage.
Around.
Like, I'm not feeling it. And
I'm Mhkeeba and
barefoot slapping on the. No, I'm just kidding. But I think there are moments where you just don't feel your best. Like and it makes you feel a certain way. Or if you're at a game and you're constantly thinking about it, you don't really. It impacts the way that you perform.
And then someone else tells you because they've noticed, it's even extra like, oh my gosh, I am so bloated, I'm fat, Did
somebody else like point?
No, I'm just saying, like, in general, like,
okay.
If you're like, I'm really insecure about my arms, and then someone's always like, your arms are flabby, you're going to be like, I'm so glad you noticed. I noticed too.
Right.
I stood in front of the mirror and was honest with myself.
And now here you are, reinforcing things.
But luckily, I wasn't the solo attendee of Fat Camp. I'm not like blasting anybody, but And the girls that were on fat camp with me, it was like, why are you here?
Wow.
Like, you were in shape. They were in shape. So I was like, why are they on fat camp with me? You know?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there can be so many different body types, but whatever that darn number was, it would just kind of like, it didn't necessarily make sense. Like, they actually look good in the uniform. And I don't think anybody, no matter what they were going through or whatever the numbers didn't reflect, I can't think of girls that just wouldn't have looked good in the uniform. Would it have been their best in the uniform? Maybe not. But would it have been something where it's like, oh, hell no. Like, if you put them on the field, everybody's going to be like, whoa, what's going on?
Nobody wanted to.
Nobody wants to be, jiggling around. And, I mean, let's, like, the game itself, I mean, and I don't know if we touched on it enough, but, like, you're active for those 3 hours that you're on the field. So, like, you kind of can't, there's no room for you to be completely out of shape. Okay?
No.
Like, you're jumping up and down, you're constantly rallying, your arms are getting the workout, you're dancing throughout the game. So you have to be in some decent shape. It's not like you can just coast through just looking like
full body workout 2 to 3 times a week, plus your practices or workouts on your own.
Exactly.
Like, honest,
you're getting
totally good.
You're getting enough, I think, just by virtue of being on the team. But like you said, sometimes things would, get away from you, or the things that your body's changing in ways that you really can't identify, explain, or control. And, that brings me to, just something that I'm probably like one extreme or the other. I can be very, very bodacious and in your face and outgoing. And then I can also be very shy or private about things. But my last year was not my best year because I didn't know what I was dealing with. Every year I think I felt pretty good.
You looked great.
My abs were kind of, popping. And so I kind of felt like I started to notice a little change, and I kept calling it like, what did I call it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like ab pack. Oh,
right.
Because I felt like it was like my abs were sitting on top of a layer of, I called it a layer of flubber. I had all kinds of descriptors. But you weren't.
That's the thing that was so weird. Couldn't explain it.
I couldn't explain it, and I felt it. I felt like I was seeing it.
It was almost like kind of a constant bloat.
Right. And there's like this
with the six-pack on
protruding.
Front.
Right.
On top.
Like, exactly. It was like, why is my stomach protruding in front of me? And I couldn't figure it out. And I was exercising. I was, I knew it was my last year. And so I wanted to
go out with a bang, or just
be my banging self. I mean, can't tell me anything most of the time. I never really I didn't always struggle with like how I felt about my own body, because maybe it was a little overconfident at times, but I always felt good about it, right? And then this year, I just felt like something, like I was struggling. And I remember, I think this was the year that I got the pictures, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really know what's happening. And I think we were having a pretty decent conversation about, well, have you tried this? And like, maybe you have to start counting calories. And I'm like, oh God, that'll be the death of me.
And we bought like waist trainers.
Yes, we did. Yeah. I was doing whatever. I literally tried, I think, everything under the sun that year, like maybe trying to eliminate certain things from my diet. And I was like, okay, let that route be like last resort, like me counting some calories and apps and stuff, because I cannot handle that. But I was trying different things. I started working with a personal trainer at work, and I was like, I'm solely focused on my core. Everything else is good. Don't make me lose my chi-chas, and I don't need any help with my butt. Like, just, I'm toned. Like, I'm good.
Those side bends and sit-ups, so please don't lose that butt.
Exactly. So I had a very, open mind and willing to do the work, prioritizing the time to do the work. But
then we noticed, not to this is your story, but we knew something was wrong, because I don't know what caused it, but we were dancing, and then you buckled over in pain, and you were like, pain. I felt like something just like ripped inside of me, and I was like, what? Yeah. And you were like, I just have never seen you like that, and so it really freaked me out.
Well, it freaked me out too, because this was a game day practice.
Oh, so we had to like brush it off.
Yeah.
See, this is like bringing it back full circle of like why we do it. Like, we push through injuries.
Oh, push through whatever.
Don't ever let on that you might be injured animal, because then
you will be yanked.
Yeah.
You can't dance. Like, we have, and I think that's something we probably haven't even set out enough, is that these are 10 opportunities to dance in a professional football game, unless you make the playoffs and you have home field advantage. But 10 times, man.
It goes by quick when you're in it.
It flies by. Every week is precious. You only have the home games that you're cheering, for people who don't know. So I cherished every single game. Like, period. Like, I did not want to ever be in a situation where I couldn't dance a game. And, but yeah, you're right. That practice, and it was just like a fluke.
Yeah.
It hurt like hell. And it was such a sharp pain. And I'm like, okay, I've experienced labor because I have children. Like, it wasn't that kind of a pain. I don't know what kind of pain that was. I was just definitely like, please don't let that happen again during a game. Thanks. Like,
well, and then you were losing weight. You still didn't like your like shape or whatever. And I remember you laid down and you're like, feel this, Brittany. And I was like, what? Like, it was kind of like inner thigh, like right there area, like below the hip bone. And I was like, I'm not going to touch you there. You're like, no, feel this. And there was like a huge lump there. And I was like, Mhkeeba, this is serious. Like, go to the doctor. Was your trainer the one that said, I think something's going on? Yeah,
no, I went to get a massage.
Oh, that's what it was.
So, matter of fact, if you back up even a little bit, because I can't remember when I made you feel it. Maybe it was after
the massage, after they found it.
But we were in New Orleans together, and I just remember at some point, because I had a beautifully elaborate, I call it my Big Bird costume. It was like a carnival outfit, and so being bloated was just not allowed because it would ruin my whole goddamn outfit.
And it was for your birthday.
It was for my birthday.
Halloween.
All this extra.
It was fun.
So, but I remember kind of having my stomach start protruding hella. Like, it was not even like just a little bit, but I was just like, that's hella weird. Like, is it going to go away? And you're just thinking, it's gas. I don't know, bloat, whatever. But when I got back from that trip, I got a massage, and because I had like a psoas muscle weirdness, and so she flips me over to start massaging it from the other side. And same area that I made you touch, she was just like, what the hell is that? Like, I love her. She was just very like, she was like, that is not normal. She was like, I'm not a doctor. She was like, but you need to get that checked out. And this was like my birthday weekend, the actual weekend of my birthday. Great. I had my massage on a Friday, I'll never forget. And Monday Night Football was coming up. And so I was like, okay, yeah, girl, I'll get that checked out next week sometime, because I got the Giannis Marshall class that we took.
Oh, I was so sick for that.
Oh my God. There was a lot going on that weekend, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. So I'll figure out what's going on next week. So Monday Night Football. And so when I went to the doctor, turns out I had fibroids in my uterus, and we thought that that there were 3 very large ones. I named one Igor because of the way that he would stick out from my stomach. But it basically, she said they were so large that she didn't understand why I was not in pain constantly. And then it hit me like, oh, that's the pain that I may have been feeling. And then from there, I just feel like from the moment it was diagnosed, it was just nonstop pain. Like, I remember sitting
really
in my car before practices, number one, hoping the bloat would go down, or the protrusion, if you will, and then just bracing myself for the pain. I've cheered games that way. This was like maybe 3 or so games left in the year.
Yeah, it was pretty close. That's why you're like, I'm not giving up.
I'm not, because I kind of had a feeling the conversation would have been like, well, obviously you have a medical issue, go deal with it, and you look like you don't look the way I want you to look, and and leave.
And this is also kind of a ridiculous thing, is sometimes you'd get sprung. Like, everybody got a little fluffy for winter. But
sure.
It was not mainly because, but we'd be wearing a lot of our cold weather stuff. So your abs in your stomach isn't out. Your arms aren't out. Showing. You're covered up.
Exactly. Unless so you have like the studio practice where you all strip down to your...
Not spray tanned.
Yes. So sometimes there would be...
See-through white.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Sometimes there'd be practices where we'd have to, strip down to our bra tops and booty shorts, even though it's like the dead of winter, and you'd go inside of a studio, and so everybody'd be kind of like hiding their stomach with their pom-poms and a little sheepish about it. But like, in terms of just like the conversation that I had to have to push for why I didn't say anything, and why, because I didn't make weight that practice. And I was just like, all I can tell you is I have 3 large fibroids inside of me, and I don't know how they're impacting my weight, but I do know that they are impacting the way that my stomach looks. And I'd like to get surgery after the end of the year. And it was a little bit of a back and forth, because I think...
Well, it's kind of like a cop, you're always being lied to, and you're always hearing like excuses. She probably felt like, you've got to be kidding me. Here's like the ultimate excuse.
Yeah, because
but it's not.
Like,
that's what upset you so much, is because you like just convincing for your health. having to convince
right.
that, like, I can do it, but...
Like, let me just suffer, because I was
Yes.
actually suffering, and I wanted to end the season on my terms, you know? Like, not, like... And it wasn't the most pleasant terms to be in that much pain to, you know, the last few games, and trying to just tell myself that I just wanted to end it that way. I remember, like, even that's just the way I'm cut. You know, I'm strong. I will power through whatever, because I'm hard-headed and I just want what I want. And I wanted to finish out my year. But even the first time that we auditioned together and I pulled my hamstring, like, something in me wouldn't allow me to, like, not show up for final auditions. I couldn't even really dance. I literally snapped my hamstring in half, but I just not showing up just didn't feel like an option to me. And it was the same thing, you know, for this game, or these last couple of games. And, you know, when I ended up having surgery,
you did sooner than you planned too, because we had like a Death of Igor party. Yeah, we went line dancing. We had so much fun.
Oh my goodness! And we went to Vegas.
And then it was like, oh, my surgery. There's an opening earlier than we thought. Yeah, I'm getting it done. And it wasn't just 3 fibroids, Mhkeeba. How many was there?
I call it a little rock band. There were 21 removed.
I saw the photos.
Yeah.
Remember, we sat them together. I was like, you would look, and then I was like, let's look, and then flipped it over.
And we saw Igor.
Really cute.
I don't think they were cute, but we did see the one that we named Igor. Okay, sorry if this is TMI and gross, but long story short, this is something that Black women do have, like, disproportionately high numbers of instances of fibroids. You know, I actually had to we were going to go in this, like, very, you know, non-invasive way and do the surgery and just remove the, you know, the big ones. And, you know, luckily my mom was there to say, no, when you see what's in there, get it all out. And because that was not part of our little plan. It was to, like, don't make a big incision and just take them out. Okay. You know? And, after having 2 children naturally, I had to have a C-section just to get the rock band out. And, you know, I think I share that only because it's like...
What's the band's name? Igor and the Lumps.
Oh my gosh, so I have to say it because this is what this picture really reminds me of. If anyone has seen the movie Frozen, and I'm sure you had to see it, but remember when... The trolls like rolled over and, like, started singing, like, that's the only thing that made me laugh in the hospital, was just thinking of that damn... I forget what the hell that song was. But,
me neither.
But anyway, it's just like, you never really know what somebody's going through, and, you know,
Amen
think
to that.
You sometimes don't even know what your own body is going through, and, you know... I think it can be really frustrating, because that's at least why I was frustrated, was because I couldn't put my finger on what was going on with my body. And you can know your body, and you can know how your body typically responds. You can age, things can happen, and you start to feel like, well, I don't even know shit anymore. Like, I don't know what my body's going to do at any given point. And sometimes it could be a medical issue that you don't know about. But, like, I think it's just trying to stay in tune with your body as much as possible, and being willing to try everything, because I think you probably just want to do it that bad. And I can relate to, obviously, all the women who are under some sort of requirements around weight, because you want it that bad. Nobody wants to be fat in uniform.
Right.
And everybody wants to dance. You don't have that many opportunities, and every game matters and counts. Hopefully people look at their experience that way, where they value and treasure each game that they're able to dance, because I would have been devastated if I had to quit, or was kind of asked to.
Amen to that.
Yeah, to quit.
How do you feel about your body? I'm glad you pushed through it.
I am too. I mean, it's not the way I would have wanted to end, but I'm so glad that I wasn't asked to leave based on, and I faced being benched for not making weight. It was a very difficult conversation to have, but I'm glad that I kind of
stuck up for yourself.
Yeah, because, and then it ended up being way more than I bargained for. But but how do you feel about your body now that you're not, like, dancing anymore?
So I haven't even hit the year mark of not being on the team.
Oh, that's right. You haven't, technically.
And I got married in that time.
You looked beautiful.
Thank you. But body dysmorphia. I mean, I totally am chasing after the body I had while I was cheerleading. And it's
Why
definitely
do you think
hard.
that is?
Well, because I thought I looked the best.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'm asking only because is that what you consider to be your standard of the best, or is it something that was told to you? You know what I mean? I mean, you know me, I'm such a free spirit and a hard head, where it's
Right.
and a rebel sometimes, where it's just like, it's what I say. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I define what looks good on me, and I'm going to, you know, I think we all are finding like that line of where it's like embracing your body, but also knowing what you want to strive to as something that might be better, or,
Right.
you know, but I think, I mean,
Just finding a good balance.
Yeah.
You know, just feeling healthy and good, and like I could go to Hawaii right now and feel fine in a bikini. You know what I mean? And like, again, that's different for everybody. I'm not really chasing after a number.
right.
I truly am just trying to be like, do I think I look good? You know? But it's changed. I mean, I'm not dancing 3 times a week for 4 hours straight.
Right.
It's true. Like, now I have to find something to fill that exercise that I was getting for so long.
Right, and it's always like an hour exercise. Like, I don't know how to like have a 3-hour workout anymore.
No.
Like
what is
What
that?
is that? And maybe we weren't like dancing the entire 3 hours, but the games would feel that way for sure. And it's hard to find, I mean, this is like, you know, post-retirement talk for me, but, you know, there's something to be said about getting a workout, doing something that you absolutely love without it feeling like a job or like a workout. Or, you know, in the dance fitness classes that we've tried have been cool, but it's not something where I'm just like, give me 3 hours of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's very hit and miss, and, you know, not the same rigor that we were subjected to, or that we, you know, dealt with while we were professional cheerleaders. But like you said, it's hard to find the balance of what that new mix of exercise or diet or whatever might be, especially when you have,
Yeah.
yeah.
But now's my chance to, you know, get healthy again. And like I said, the last year I was on it, their weigh-ins weren't such an, you know, big deal. And so I think...
Was it helpful? Kind of not
No,
having the
because
pressure?
then every practice I was like, oh my gosh, is she going to just spring it on us? I was always ready and
Okay.
at my weight
Got you.
pretty close to every practice.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I mean, I kind of like the freedom of, or the self-awareness, one, to just know what Mhkeeba thinks is Mhkeeba's, like, what's too much. Like, girl, okay, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm buying some clothes in a different size, usually that's my little cue, or things aren't fitting me the way I want them to. Do I feel sexy in a bra and panties? Like, do I like looking at myself in the mirror? Like, you know, that kind of thing. Like, checking myself out and like what I see. But, you know, there are times where I think I do, like, when I know I'm not at my best self, it's just kind of like, okay, well, when am I going to stop saying it and just like do something about it? But it's such a personal conversation. I just really encourage everybody to kind of, like, for everybody that can relate to what we're talking about, just to know that this is your personal journey, and you know what you love about your body. Like, you have to be able to say what you love about your body as much as you are willing to critique it, right? I remember, who the heck was I talking to? I was talking to my stylist, my hairstylist, and we were just kind of having this conversation about bodies, and I was like, well, what do you like about your body?
She couldn't say.
And she couldn't say. And I was like, you know, that's what we should work on first, more so than just like hitting the gym or trying a diet, is really just being able to look ourselves in the mirror and
Just
feel beautiful,
self-love,
and just
you know?
like, you might have the things that your problem areas. We can all point out till the cows come home, like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that about the way I look. But like, being able to identify what you do like and embrace it, like fully, like embrace it. It makes a difference, I think, in how you approach working on yourself, because you're holding on to the things that you love. You're embracing where you are, and just kind of not beating yourself up, because it can be a productive, healthy conversation within yourself, or it could be a destructive one, and hopefully the world of professional cheerleading hasn't been the cause of that for anybody.
Right.
Hopefully people aren't like having anxiety and depression and
I'm not.
I mean, anxiety over weigh-ins maybe, but like, if it really truly impacts your self-esteem, that's something that I would encourage everybody to shift their thinking on, because all of our bodies are beautiful. That makes me think of this like little mix video that I saw.
You sent it to me when we were
It's
trying to
called
figure out a
Strip,
title.
and it was like, I mean, this video, it's black and white. They're like toned down with makeup and everything, and they just have women of every shape and size just dancing and just free-spirited and just embracing their bodies. And I just thought, what a beautiful way to, like, I mean, we can't like play the video for you guys. You need to go watch it. But I just think we should love our bodies.
Yeah.
There's some
every stage,
whatever
stage. And whatever place you are in your life, you know.
Even if you have strict weight requirements on you, just
from your employer.
Still love your body though, right? Like you can.
It does amazing things. It like whatever weight you are at, you're able to dance.
Yes.
You're able to walk. Like I know people who aren't able to do that. Even,
right.
You know.
Right. So true. Just being thankful and appreciate.
Yeah, and thankful. Perfect timing for Thanksgiving.
Yes. So
some locker talk. Let's have fun now.
Yay,
I'm tired of talking about my fat ass.
I love my fat ass. But yes, locker talk. We thought we would stick to the theme a little bit and just share some funny little memories about weigh-ins.
Stories. Well, so there was some girls that never struggled with their weight, and they were like hardcore fitness people, and I don't know, chug a protein shake before practice, but protein shakes give you protein farts, and they were the most foul smelling stuff I've ever smelled. And that wasn't fun.
There would be, it was kind of like the kind of fart, and yes, we're talking about like beautiful professional cheerleaders farting, but like in cartoons, if there would be like a green cloud, it would just, the air may have been just like stale up in there anyway, but it would just kind of like hover, and you just would walk into a cloud of it sometimes, and you're just like,
we're in an indoor playing field, okay? Can't you run off to like the 10-yard line and toot a little bit and then run back? No one would think anything.
No, they would just go let it rip.
Like but I bet like it was probably during like a hard, let it rip, hardcore kick line. Can't hold that.
They would come out. They would seep out. You'd
and then you're still arm locked with them, and you're like, oh my God.
And you don't want to breathe, but you got to breathe because you're doing a kick line. They were just, they were farts.
But I heard that like people who fart a lot are healthier. Like they have healthier guts.
Really?
So it just matched their
abs.
Let
one go right now. No, I'm just kidding. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So one year too. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
Well, one year I wasn't having a problem with weigh-in, so I was released. I weighed in just fine, and I was released. And so I hovered over my practice bag to eat a granola bar, like a chocolate-covered chewy bar, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then it was like, okay, kick line. Wow, we did a lot of kick lines. And I remember putting it in, because it was a cold time too, so we had like our hoodies on with like these little pockets. And it was like, link up, 5, 6, 7, 8, and kick, and kick, and kick, and kick. And then someone was like, oh my God, what is that? And I looked down, and my half-eaten chocolate-covered granola bar was laying there on the ground. And I was like, that's mine. And like picked it up, because like, I am not going to waste food, okay? That was probably like the first meal I had that day.
Oh my gosh. No, I think it's still the funniest sight is just seeing us all hunched over our bags.
Chipmunk cheeks with like food in there
like nobody's business. I had a snack bag, legit. Like,
you did. Candy bag.
Oh, I shared with everyone.
You did.
But either candy to get you through practice with a little bit of and pep in your step, or just food, like literally food. But what we talked about, like pictures where, they might be kind of carving out curves and doing stuff like that. But if you didn't have the benefit of, Photoshop or photos, and you are part of the itty bitty titty committee, sometimes you were using help, whether that be socks. I don't want to ruin the fantasy for anybody, but sometimes people are stuffing socks, gel inserts, etc., into their uniform tops or their bikini tops, whatever it may be. And, there were times where those, I think with boob sweat or whatever, where, the chicken cutlet is what I call them, would like flop out. That's happened where, on
it's
stage.
Laying on a stage, and if somebody takes a photo of it and it ends up in our gallery.
Thanks a lot.
Great photographic work there.
Thank you. But yeah, the help releasing itself is definitely embarrassing, or showing in a picture, or sometimes like even like when if you do have help as part of your outfit or bikini or whatever, and it like makes your boobs lopsided, or like just
it flattens the outside, like so there isn't a nice curve, but you got cleavage. That's all that matters. It's flat until the middle.
Oh my God.
Like what the heck? Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Any other little memories you'd like to share?
Do
you remember that practice that like it was, 'cause sometimes we'd have like late practices and weigh-in night practices. I think you mentioned it earlier. We're just like you're a zombie, like you're dead tired. Because it would always be like a really good workout the day of weigh-ins. I don't know if it was like a punishment for like, I know you people haven't eaten and you're going to act weak and I'm going to make you push it, you know?
Right.
But there was one practice, and I will never forget, the director was up high looking down at us for a game or something that we were setting. And I don't even remember what the hell I did wrong, but I think she, like, you know, called me out for it. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just hungry. I literally, like, it was just like one of those moments, and she couldn't do anything but laugh, because it was just like, yo, I'm stuck on stupid on weigh-in days. Like, there's nothing, like, I'm just trying to make it through the night, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would feel funny. There would be some stupid mistakes or things said just because we're all starving.
Like, Brittany, over here. What? Oh, hi.
Oh my god.
Pretty bad.
Well,
but yeah, you know, it's all in fun.
Yes. And I mean, I think for all the women that are out there, you were selected because you are gorgeous and your bodies are gorgeous, and we know that, you know, it's hard to keep your body looking that way all year long. So kudos to you.
You can do it.
You can do it. And I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving despite having to cheer. Some people like danced on Thanksgiving Day. That would piss me, not piss me off, but like I'm kind of
We never
glad.
had a Thanksgiving game, did we?
Yo, that's not okay.
Really?
I would not have appreciated that.
I like doing like alternative holiday food. I don't really like the turkey and like, it's all brown and green, you know?
Brown, green, orange. Like,
yeah,
that's
like
true.
fall
Yellow
colors.
For mac and cheese. Yeah.
Like one year, my family, we did like a seafood, like crab pot style.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, or like we'll do a theme like Mexican food, or everybody make an Asian dish. Like,
okay.
To me, that's more fun. I just like spending time with family and friends.
Yeah,
that's what's important.
That's the good part.
Because I was in charge of the turkey this year, and I like almost blew it up.
Did you try to fry it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish I did.
Well, people don't know what they're doing.
Heavy.
And then
It was like 25-pound turkey.
Oh my goodness.
What was I doing? I don't know. This
I
adulting
only buy the
thing.
Turkey breast because that's.
You like the breast?
I only like the white meat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I only like the dark meat.
Ooh, what you saying, Britt? No, I'm just kidding.
Give me a drumstick. Okay. But we have our YouTube live now.
We do. We are actually super excited about that. I know podcasts are kind of new to people. Like, I honestly didn't really listen to podcasts like that.
Or only a certain group really like loves them and listens to them.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I'm so into podcasts. But, you know, for people who prefer YouTube, we have a YouTube channel, and all of our podcast episodes are there, but we're also going to have reaction videos, which I'm so excited about. And, you know, just kind of being able to look through these beautiful calendars that different teams have shot. Like, I sent you the Miami Dolphins calendar because they took a whole different approach with their calendar.
Kind of like the Little Mix strip and music video, like you were saying, black and white.
Yeah.
Very minimal makeup.
They wanted to show this, like, we're just like you theme. And they're actually focusing on the positive attributes of the ladies, which I thought was also super
really well
awesome.
done.
Just kind of speaking to their, you know, their character and describing what they do, and just like, we're poor and we need money, but we love to like actually look at all the teams' calendars and just kind of like not necessarily critique it, but just look through and react to it, and
maybe watch one of our end of the year DVDs.
Oh my
and
goodness,
react to that.
That would be awesome. Our audition videos,
yes.
And then just some of these kick-ass performances. I ended up tweeting. It was kind of old, but it was an actual performance of our girls, the Seagulls. It was like a compilation video, but there are just some awesome performances out there. We follow a lot of different accounts that show, you know, clips from the games, and I get hyped every time I see it, you know, and I think shout out to the Seagulls for really bringing it. I love the choreography and some of the NBA routines. Like,
they're so cool.
So cool.
I love all the hip hop. That's where I'm at.
Just like, and they're just, we're putting out an APB. We need an NBA dancer to talk to us.
Yeah, we
I have
do.
so many like questions about just how they prepare for games, and like how
why they're called dancers, not cheerleaders.
Yeah, and just like their approach to their game day, because it seems like it's a little different. I remember when NBA dancers used to be on the court throughout the whole game, and it seems like sometimes they do other things or they just kind of have their set performances, but some dope dances, and I'm dying to talk to you.
Yes. So yeah, leave
our hotline, man.
Our hotline, 513-480-6714. Leave us anything and everything, because either way we'll get a laugh out of it.
Yes. And we'd love to share it. I think the awesome thing that could be created from this is just a community where we support one another, and then maybe we answer questions for people who have any, and just start chatting it up. And it's, you know, hopefully people understand just what we're going after with doing this podcast. But we just thank you for listening and being a part of it, and share any feedback. Review us on iTunes if you'd like our Facebook page, Pro Cheerleading Podcast on Facebook.
I kind of handle the Instagram, and you do the Twitter.
I have been getting follows, yo.
Wow,
I'm actually moving up in the world with the follow department, and I appreciate every single one of you, however many 30 there are. But come on.
Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Next week, do we know what we're talking about yet?
No, do we?
Of course not. We're not even going to come back acting like we know. But stay tuned. Every Wednesday, first thing when you wake up, it'll be out there.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening. Keep your eyes on the sidelines, baby.